What's going on, guys? Moonhead with the Gas Holes Podcast back, and let me tell you what, this is a jam-packed episode. We're going to cover a little bit of iRacing drama and nonsense from Tuesday night, as well as look back at the Daytona road course and look ahead to Homestead. We're going to answer some mailbag questions, tell some great stories, and then we got my interview with Andy Jankowiak. He's the guy who went to Daytona, finished 8th. They did the special on him on Fox. He delivers pizzas by day, races cars by night. He's an all-around badass, got a great story, and we're really happy to get him on here, and it was really, really a pleasure to talk to him. So, without further ado, let's jump in.
What's going on, everybody? Gas Holes Podcast. I don't remember what episode we're on. 37? That sounds right. 37?
I think that's the ballpark. I think we're somewhere right there.
I feel like I guess every week, and I usually get it right. It's, yeah, 37. Sounds good. We'll go with 37.
I never check when I just go off what you say in the first seconds anyway. So if any of the numbers are wrong on iTunes or anything like that, that's why.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I usually get it right. I go back from the previous one. I'm getting all the shit on YouTube. But how about that fucking Coke race? I know you were watching that. We got to talk about this shit first off.
Yeah, that was that was something. I guess you were watching when it all went down, right?
Well... So to be fair, it was kind of going down all race almost. It seemed.
Well, yeah, it started though right at the beginning. I was watching the broadcast, and I started to see chat. I was paying half attention, and I started seeing chat talking about stuff. So I started hopping streams and figuring it out, and we were able to figure out that drivers were losing connection left and right.
Yeah, I got there a couple. I was like, what the hell? They wrecked already? I saw a bunch of guys like 5, 6 down. I talked to Derek today. I ran B-Fix with him. I was talking a little bit about the pro race and stuff, and he seemed excited for it. I was like, good luck, dude. And I got, I as soon as I clicked on the stream, I saw he was like 6 laps down. I was like, what the fuck? What, did they wreck already? And somebody said no, they went all they've been green since the start. And I was like, oh, what the fuck had happened here? But yeah, so what's the deal? Does anybody know for sure?
Well, the drivers are saying, hey, it's an iRacing problem. And not just Coke drivers. There's people were dropping out of league races, people dropping out of official races.
Yeah.
And iRacing saying, hey, not so quick, drivers. This is not an iRacing issue. All these people are Comcast users. It's a Comcast problem. And that's chapped some asses, we'll say. And there's a lot of back and forth going on. A lot of Coke drivers
could never.
Yeah, a lot of Coke drivers were hot under the collar about this situation, so they took to Twitter, like they like to do, which reportedly, I'm saying this reportedly from reports, prompted iRacing to send out a heavily worded email to all of the drivers in the Coke series, telling them, hey, if y'all probably need to watch what you're saying, or we'll basically, if these 40 can't shut the fuck up, we'll find 40 who can. was what they pretty much, that was the bottom line of that email. So this is going to be an interesting few days. It'll be interesting to see. Obviously, the race is over now. I don't know what they can do. I feel bad for iRacing just as much as I feel bad for the drivers, because iRacing doesn't want that to happen. I think people lose sight when any game fucks up. People sit there and think like there's somebody from iRacing sitting back there rubbing their hands together, watching their product not meet its standards in front of thousands of people. I'm sure that they were running around in circles and they're trying to figure out what was going on. I'm sure they feel the same way about dynamic track. And I mean, that race was boring to watch. They had to interview people they had to interview Joe Graff Jr. in the middle of a Nascar Coke series, right? Like that. That's how boring it was, folks. No offense to Joe Graff Jr., but I mean, there were a lot of other features that they could have run there.
I couldn't believe that shit, dude. Because that was around when I first started watching, like at the start of the race, and then it's just like that middle portion. That was like honestly probably the worst Coke race I've ever watched. I don't watch a whole lot of them, but like, oh my god, that was, not only was the race so bad, they had to detour to Joe Graff Jr.'s dumbass.
Yeah, and I mean, it was a good story with him and that Antonio guy. I forget his last name, Williams.
Yeah, but that was the thing. I was like, what the fuck, man? We're listening to. I didn't know what the hell they were talking about, but I just heard Joe Graff Jr.'s life story, and I'm like, there's a Coke race going on. What are we doing here?
That's the thing, like. it didn't make any sense, and it's not a Joe Graff Jr. thing. Like, I mean, it was a little odd of a driver choice in my opinion, because he doesn't have ties to iRacing that I know of, and Antonio is big into heat stuff. Like, he's always in heat stuff. So I don't know the correlation. I think that they were just trying to find something to keep people entertained, because that was a really bad race. Just the cup package, which isn't iRacing's doing, sucks. No dynamic track sucks, and like I said, I'm sure iRacing hates it just as much as the rest of us. That's kind of where I've stood on, like,
so.
the whole netcode situation. Everybody bitches about netcode, and I do too. I've been screwed by it many times, but I'm not one of these people who sits here and thinks iRacing's just going to ignore that, because you look at the first race of the season, they spend all winter hyping up the Coke Series, and 3 and 4 of the final lap, there's guys side by side for the win, and netcode causes a 35 car pileup, and one car comes across the line and wins. They don't want that, and anybody thinks they do is crazy. So they'll get it figured out. And I think at the end of the day, we all need to, shitting on iRacing is one thing, and calling out what they need to fix is one thing, but we all need to try to be a little more positive with it, because at the end of the day, if we can build iRacing up and make it bigger and bigger, that's going to open up more opportunities for all of us. Whether it's somebody like me who likes to do fun stuff, or people like Cozy who want to go run for pro. If there's a lot of positive communication going on, I feel like iRacing would be more open to taking suggestions. But when you have, I forget what the tweet was, but one of those, the dynamic track bot was being pretty rough on them tonight. And there's a lot of people being pretty rough on them tonight. So I don't know. I've been bad about shitting on things before, but I've kind of matured here lately, and try to realize, like, hey, like, they are doing their best,
I guess. I was gonna say, it's like, I don't know if I want to go for pro anymore after watching that shit tonight.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, it's just like, for those who don't understand, the problem with it is, you all know how the cup cars go in real life. The problem with iRacing is they have the arrow push like they do in real life, but they can only drive one groove. So it's like, it's about as bad, like, it's like NASCAR levels of bad, but like, you just take away all the other grooves, so it's that much worse. It's just a unfortunate combination of things, and oh man, that was a horrible race. Like, when they had a nice shot of everybody coming across the line in nice evenly spaced portions.
Well, lucky for you, I would assume that if you make pro, obviously that's going to be the B car, and then if you make Coke, by then it should be, if they want to keep with the realism, it should be the next gen car, which hopefully won't be like that. So
yeah, that's the one positive. If I somehow manage to make it to the Coke series, that by the time I do, they'll probably have those next gen cars, and then it's who knows where it goes from there. But yeah, man, I'm just fucking A. It's I don't know. It's disappointing to watch, but man, hopefully they can learn from it, because this is not a very fun time of iRacing, and it's the problem with it is it was fun for so long. You know what I mean? I picked a really bad time to get back into it, but
man, people ask why Mooncar does a lot of plate racing and then stupid stuff with Miatas, and yeah, it puts on exciting races, and yeah, plate racing attracts a lot of people, but if it wasn't single groove everywhere, we would probably be racing. Because I remember back in the day where you could put on a good race anywhere on iRacing, like any track, even tracks that suck in real life. Like, you go to Michigan and put on one of the best races you'd ever watch. You can't really do that now unless you run the truck or something that's really drafty. And even then, people can only do it for 5 laps before their tires are gone. So, I don't know. It is a very frustrating time on iRacing, but I'm also not going to be one of these people who sits here and pretends that iRacing is watching this and literally watching everybody hate it. You know what I mean? Like, they did not watch that Twitch chat tonight, spend 2 hours or however long it was shitting on the game, and then shut off the stream and high five everybody. All right, see y'all next week. Good work. Like, I'm sure there are conversations being had and fingers being pointed right now.
Yeah. The positive side to it is that, like, stuff like this usually is a turning point. Usually, so
yeah.
Yeah, so that's like one of the few positives we can hang on to. Look on the bright side, because like you
Hey, it
said,
don't make a damn to me because you know I mean shit. If people get bored with the Coke series, I know a show that runs every other night that that'll keep you on the edge of your seat. So
hell
you can
yeah.
pay for the whole seat, only use the edge over here at Mooncar.
Yeah, you're like
But
the
yeah,
Xfinity series now.
yeah, pretty much. It's actually really funny because there were a lot of us in the chat, like Parker Kligerman and Landon Castle were in there, and they were trying to divert some of the attention away from negativity. And then me and Jordan, and a lot of the bottom split guys were kind of doing stuff like that too, having funny conversations. But that just ended up leading to people. Well, Jordan kind of started it, but there was a lot of spamming about truck and Mooncar, which are the two things. Like Jordan hosts truck, and I host Mooncar, and I was like, oh no, this is backfiring really, really, really bad, making us look bad. But I don't know. It was sad. I feel bad for it. I feel so bad for guys like Derek Justice, who have speed.
Yeah.
Derek literally has 1 point, I think, after tonight.
Yeah. Oh
1 point,
man.
and I know that he maybe not a title contender, but I know he could go put together and be easily one of the top 10 drivers in that series. And it just, I don't know. I feel bad for him. I feel bad,
dude.
for a lot of people. I feel bad for everybody who drops because they spend 2 weeks busting their asses testing to have something dumb take it away, whether it's an ISP problem or an iRacing problem. That doesn't change the fact that they busted their asses, most of them, for 2 weeks and then dropped and never got a chance to even race.
Yeah. Even up to the night before, what I heard, some of those guys who had dropped, they were up like all night trying to find just, hundredths of a second, you know what I mean? That's what pissed me off more than anything, because now like I'm finally testing and shit and doing all this stuff for Road to Pro, and I'm like, man, I just put myself in that seat. Like, dude, if I was up to like 4 a.m. just to get like DC'd out of the fucking server, oh my god, I'd be so fucking pissed. I'd be running my mouth left and right, unless iRacing told me to shut up. But
yeah, allegedly. I mean, obviously I wasn't in the. Unfortunately, I didn't make the cut if that email was sent out because I'm not a Coke driver. But I saw on Twitter where that's the rumor, is that there was a pretty big email that went out. So
yeah,
it's a shame. We'll see what comes of it. I'm sure the truth always comes out, so I'm sure it may be a year from now, but we'll find out if that did happen. If it did, it's pretty funny.
Oh man, dude, I started testing for that car anomaly thing. Well, to be fair, qualifying's tomorrow, so I guess if you're listening to this right now, the qualifying's tonight, technically Wednesday night. Starts at 7. I'm in the first thing, dude. Of course, I'm working with Seth, and he's a fucking monster. And dude, this qualifying set we got, it goes faster by itself than the fixed setup does in the draft. It's fucking nuts. And you know how fast that fucking fixed setup was. Dude, it's fucking insane.
What do you have to do when you get down to the corner to harness that bad boy?
Oh, dude, you don't lift. It's pretty on edge, but it's like, as long as you get past corner entry, it pretty much sticks the whole rest of the way. But it's like, if you're qualifying for like plate stuff, just normally like cup or anything really, trucks, Xfinity, you just like, you hold it smooth, but you're doing the same thing, you're just doing it at like 230 miles an hour. So it's hard to keep it like the corner entry, and obviously the trial is the hardest part, because it's just like it's kind of skewed, and it kind of just like it doesn't have a lot of fucking downforce. It slides a lot, but you gotta like limit the slide. It's like trying to qualify like an 87 car almost. But it's dude, you just hauling fucking balls. But we practiced and worked on the race set too, and we got it. I think we got 2 rocket ships is what we're holding on to. So,
dude, after the announcement of that bonus, I'm so bad. So I missed. I guess we haven't talked about it, but I missed the making qualifying or whatever by 2 spots out there. I was sweating like crazy after that race. I drove my heart out. I ran as high as like 7th at one point. I was proud of myself. It just so easy to get shuffled in that. If you restart on the outside and can't find your way to the bottom, it's so easy to fall back. And that's pretty much what happened. Then I had a little bit of contact and made a damn good charge back towards the spot, but just came up a little short. But what they're doing, for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, Carnomaly 500, Landon Castle, Josh Mendoza, and Parker Kligerman are putting it on. And they got a sponsor. It's I forget the company's name, but it's a like an RC a remote control car thing. They have parts and all that stuff for them.
Oh, cool.
If whoever wins the poll, if they elect to start from the back and they win the race, they get an extra $15,000 on top of the $3,000 they'd win already. So the winner, if they come from last after qualifying on the poll, will win 18 grand, which is just absolutely. You'd have to be a fucking idiot not to take that.
Yeah.
First of all, because it's a 500-mile race, so it's not like. And I've seen it in bad for. So I remember Windshield Deep. They did a thing like that, and they let it go down the list. So pole sitter didn't take it. This was super late models at Richmond, and I remember Donovan Strauss, poor Donnie. He qualified pretty well, and it got down to him, and he was like, "Hell yeah, I'll take it." And by like lap 5, he was wrecked on the back straightaway. That was the end of his efforts. But for 18 grand, man, you got to take it, because you're not going to lead that whole thing from the front. It's not like a short track where you can bank on a shitload of cautions. You know this thing's going to go green a little bit. There's probably going to be some wrecks here and there. But I feel like this race, there's a lot more potential for you to move up through the field and slice and dice and all that. And you could easily go 43rd to first. Easily. Because, I mean, we saw guys in some of those consolation races making up. And, yeah, the field wasn't as strong, but there were people making up 10, 15 spots in 20 laps.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, the thing with it, now that I got some, to be fair, we only had like 3 of us, but we were doing some race practice. It's a little bit harder than I thought it would be. Since it's open set now, it's, you going faster, and now there's even more aero pushed. So it's, we got a lot of that out of it. I think we got something not only that sticks really good, but goes really fast. So, but that's the fun of it though. Yeah. So like, man, I'm now I got a little bit of stake in it. It's fucking dude, I can't wait, because it's like I can't remember last time I did any open setup stuff. So like nobody really knows anything about anybody. So it's just gonna be like, who shows up with the most speed. Personally, I think we got a lot of it. There definitely could be some guys faster, but as it stands now, I'd like to think at least Seth has a legitimate chance on putting it on pole and having that chance of starting at the back and going for that extra fucking 15K bonus. Dude, I saw some shit on Twitter like like that the possible total purse is bigger than the fucking ARCA race.
Yeah,
it's just fucking insane.
Dude, there's gonna be these bitter old people who are gonna start bitching about this and video games making more money than real racing. But
the future is now, old man.
It's not that. Like, I love short track racing, and I'd love nothing more than to see short track purses that are huge. And I mean, Landon Huffman made a good point. Cars Tour is paying $6,000 to win, and ARCA's only paying $5,000. There's a problem. But
ooh, yeah.
How long has short track racing been a thing, and how long have these tracks and these series been around? And they can't figure out a way to get these purses that people are getting for computer racing. And I guess the argument that could be made is there's potential for more people to show up and race in computer stuff. So I guess that might attract some sponsors. But at the end of the day, like, any anger from this should be directed at the people promoting these short track series and events, not the people doing esports stuff. Because
somebody's fired.
You know what I mean? Like, short track racing has been a thing since racing has existed, and they're getting beat out by a bunch of people on computers. I hate it, because I love short track racing, but I hate these bitter people who are like make it sound like it's e-racing's fault that short track racing don't pay worth a damn.
That's fucking horseshit. But nah, that's a dub for sim racing. I mean, I love both equally. I think they should coexist. It's great. Everybody loves racing. Let's do it virtually sometimes. But it's fucking like, nah, because like when you think about it, man, like in terms of us, like we've been around for a while, but not as long as some of these, like, because sim racing's come a long fucking way. And not only from like when we got on, but like, way back in the day. But it's like even from when we started, it's like night and day. Because like we were talking about that with the Coke Series stuff. Like, dude, I don't know what they were racing for originally, but it's like way back when, dude, it was like nothing compared to what it is now. And think about where it's going to be in another 10 years. It's just it's nuts. It's great. I just, hopefully in 10 years, we got dynamic tracks back. That's it. But yeah, no, it's I'm super excited for this car anomaly thing. The for those of you who want to keep up with it, the qualifying's on Wednesday again. If you're listening to this, it should be tonight. I'm not gonna stream it just because it's qualifying laps. The duels are on Thursday, I think.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, so that's the day after, and that's when it's gets really interesting. It'll be set in the field. I think you got to finish in the top 20, which I think we can do that if we qualify well. But yeah, it's incredibly cool to be a part of it up until this point. But
yeah, I'm excited. There's some cool stuff coming up for them, and I'm excited to see where all this goes and what all happens this week, and then I guess in the next week when the main event happens, and then what they do in the future, because they got a cool deal over there, man. Like everything that they've done themselves. Like they're everything from their ticker to their cameras to their little fantasy game they've got on the Twitch integration. Literally all of that they've made, and the word they use is a word I can't say very well. Proprietary.
yeah, it's not good.
Yeah, my brain about exploded the other day trying to say it. But yeah, they like to use that word proprietary a lot, and I guess that's the right word. I had to Google it when they said it, and I figured out what it meant. And I was like, damn, this is a very proprietary operation you've got going here. But I'm excited. I really like what E-Racer's doing, and I love those videos that they make. Have you watched any of those, the little videos they make with the bad animations and the text to speech?
Oh no, I haven't seen them. No.
Oh my god, you need to tonight go through E-Racer's Twitter and just look at some of those videos they've posted lately. They had one today where like Parker got attacked by pirates or something.
Okay,
it's really funny. They're great. Like they're horrible, but they're funny. They're so bad they're funny.
Yeah, I gotcha. All right. Well, I guess we should talk about Daytona then.
Yeah, honestly, it's kind of a blur. A lot happened, but not a lot worth talking about happened.
There's a lot to talk about in the truck race, but fucking, I was too busy. We were too busy racing rod cars, so we missed most of it. But
yeah, I know there's a lot of torn up shit all weekend. And that's always good, I guess. So
yeah, road course starter pack, a lot of torn up shit.
Yeah, that's why the people love them, I reckon.
Yeah, it's like basically it's like discount short tracks, really. Yeah, I don't remember what happened through the truck race. I heard Ben Rhodes won, though. It took me I didn't know who won for like 2 or 3 days, and I heard that he won, I think, during the during the cup race, I think. Good for him.
Yeah.
How about Ben Rhodes finally winning stuff? It only took him 8 years.
Yeah, I mean, I've always thought he was a solid driver. He just sometimes acts a little unlikable, but hey, we all do, you know?
Yeah, no, for sure. Good for him, though. What the fuck? Xfinity was all right, wasn't it? I don't really remember a whole lot from Xfinity, to be honest. Ty Gibbs. Oh yeah, that's right. Now it's all coming back to me. How about fucking Ty Gibbs? What a drive by him, man. That was fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I was shocked how well he did.
Me too, honestly.
And the pass in the grass, that was cool. There's been a lot of instances where I was not a very big Ty Gibbs fan. Just because I didn't like how he would kind of carry himself, and I didn't like that Daytona interview. But I did a complete 180. Like I'm kind of a Ty Gibbs fan now. Like that drive, like you can almost act however you want now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
wasn't like he came in and lucked into it. It wasn't like he came in there and like, yeah, he's in a Gibbs car, so obviously he's going to be good, but he still had to earn it, and he had every chance to crack under pressure. Austin Cindric ran him off the track every chance he got, and he kept his cool and drove through the grass and didn't wreck and still put together a bunch of good laps and won the thing. I mean, so I'm a Ty Gibbs fan now. I got to give it to him.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same page. I didn't really know much about him, but I know he was pretty fast in ARCA and whatever, and I always see his shit on Twitter where he's quoting people and actually like responding. We were talking about that not too terribly long ago. There's not a whole lot of drivers anymore that actually go back and forth with users on Twitter and stuff like that. But he's like one of the few. And it was he had plenty of incidents, I guess, here and there. It's just people talking shit or whatever. But yeah, I'm on the same boat, man. You go out there and drive like that and win races like that, man. You can do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
That was cool though, man. That fucking pass in the grass. It's like, what am I watching, man? Dude, he was fucking on it, and it was crazy because what? He had never turned a lap in an Xfinity car before. Can you imagine that? Never turning a lap in a car like that out there, and just you go out there and win.
He's pretty much just the Gibbs test program that they throw out there in ARCA. But I mean, I get it. Like, it's still crazy, and that honestly, I think that's why I was such a big doubter. Just him being a Gibbs car in ARCA, that's just they're just testing for all their big stuff and letting him go out there and dominate. But to see him actually go out there in a pretty stacked Xfinity field, and yeah, I know AJ was out of it, but other than that, all the heavy hitters were pretty much still out there. And for him to do that, like I said, I'm a fan now. I like old Ty Gibbs. He's good people.
Yeah, he's cool. Yeah, man. Dude, I couldn't get over that fucking Cindric and Allmendinger shit at the end of stage 1. I love those kind of moments where it just leaves you like your mouth's fucking on the floor.
Yeah.
You were like, what the fuck did I just watch? Oh man, dude, I couldn't believe they did that shit. I hope those points were. I hope they enjoyed those points they received there.
I mean, everybody was blaming AJ, and it was his fault, but he went down there and like blocked, and then they bounced off each other, and Cindric could have lifted.
He could have.
But he was being stubborn and kept his foot in it. And the real award here should go to Riley Herbst, who instead of just lifting, took it down through the wet grass at what looked like he took the oval. It didn't even look like he had taken a chicane there with how fast he was going, and ripped the entire front end off of that thing down there in the grass.
Yeah.
And got out and like just had that look like, what happened? As he walked to the ambulance. Just nowhere I could go.
Oh man, dude. Yeah, he looked like he was out there in iRacing trying to miss a big wreck at the front, and he takes it down there in the grass and just chonks it. Oh man, fucking only Riley Herbst, man. What a goofball! What a goofball! But yeah, dude, I couldn't believe that shit watching that. But yeah, that was fun. And then on to the Cup race. Woo wee! I slept through part. I was so mad I couldn't see straight, and I passed out. I fucking fell asleep. Fucking. Man, it's always something with StarCom, man. It's like, and this time it's like it really hasn't even been Quinn's fault, and unfortunate, but it's just how it goes sometimes, man. They had that cut tire in Daytona, and then they went out there and completed 3 laps, and the motor started going fucking goofy, and they ended up just retiring the car. I was so mad, dude. I was like, man, they got to catch a break at some point, dude. And that would have been a perfect race for them to hang around, man, because I think he could have held on to the lead lap and been there at the end. Because, road course races, they always get stupid at the end, and then you got people spinning left and right and losing all kinds of track position. That's perfect for a team like that, where they could just scoop up those easy spots on the last lap or whatever and coast home to like a top 25 or whatever. That would have been perfect. But no, I don't know what the fuck was wrong with his engine, but you talked to RCR about that shit. It was fucking horrible. But yeah, hopefully they get that shit sorted out. Did you see that new paint scheme? I got a little new sponsor today. That chocolate whiskey, 8-ball, whatever. Cool. Dude, that car's hot as fuck. That was a pleasant surprise. Like 11 races or something like that. Fucking Quinn made the big time, dude. He's got his own personal whiskey and everything. So good for them. So at least it's still looking up. But yeah, so far, dude. Somehow they still haven't had as bad as a start than fucking Matt DiBenedetto. I think StarCom is ahead of them in points. It's nuts. I felt so bad, and I'm a little pissed too because I've actually played the FanDuel, the NASCAR FanDuel for the Daytona Road Course, and dude, I was winning like $45 at one point. I was so happy, and then Matt DiBenedetto retired the car, and then I was not happy anymore. But I was even like, oh hell yeah, they cut the side off the damn car, and they kept on running. I was like, yeah, I mean, fuck it, you can still get a good finish. And then they're like, we're retiring. All right, cool, fuck me. Anyways, speaking of which, I got a dude, my man Marcus, new teammate. He played DraftKings. He won nearly 30 grand.
Oh my god.
He's a fucking beast, dude.
Dude, I know two different people who have not won that much, but Lee Heron that we used to race with, he won like 15 grand during a Watkins Glen race. But it was one of the years that something stupid happened and like the order got all changed up and he had like a wacky lineup and he won 15 grand because he didn't have to split it with anybody, so he won a good
Yeah.
amount of money.
Yeah, it inspired me, man. I need to. I'm still banned from DraftKings for some reason, but they sent me the steps to undo that, so I need to do that. But yeah, fucking, I'm gonna play some more FanDuel. I got an itch for it again because I can do it a little bit better than the NFL stuff for whatever reason. Every once in a while, I hit something on the NFL, but it's like there's so many fucking players and combinations and shit. NASCAR, you usually know who's gonna be good and who's not, and it's just kind of a guessing game of like getting the right lineups of who's actually gonna.
Well, that's what gets me, man. It's so hard because basically one driver has problems and you drop 1,000 positions. But if you have a good lineup, then you're always right there splitting money. Like you have to think outside the box. And
Oh yeah.
basically something dumb has to happen. I don't know. I still haven't really figured it out. I've gotten a lot of advice and help from a lot of people and it's helped me. Like I usually will hit on at least one thing I do and not completely, like I still usually lose money, but I don't lose all my money.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I think the most I've ever won was like $30.
You just gotta put in like 1,000 lineups easy, and then it's like you're bound to win
That's
eventually.
what I'm gonna start doing. I'm just gonna start. I usually only play like a handful of the more expensive ones, and I think what I need to do is just play the cheap ones and just go through every lineup that I possibly could think of, and eventually something will hit.
Yeah, no, for sure. I only did 2 for the road course, and I almost got lucky with the one. I did that. It was like a $7 buy-in, and that was the one I was doing pretty good with. And I did like another. It was like I don't know, like $1 or something. But yeah, I need to get good. I want to win big, man. Man, did we finish talking about the Daytona road course? I don't know if there's anything else.
Pretty much. I mean, Christopher Bell won. Yada yada yada.
Yeah, how about that shit? 2 first-time winners since like 1950. That was cool to see.
And I'd like to give Scott Heckert a shout out for sitting in for BJ this weekend and finishing P28 in Live Fest's second start.
Oh hell yeah!
So we're off to a pretty good start. I'm really happy to see what they're doing. Scott's a good road course guy. BJ has very publicly, like he's been very open that he's not a road course guy and that it probably wouldn't have gone as well with him in the car. But I also think that BJ is just listening on the radio before. Like I think he's one of those people who's just hard on himself too. So I mean I think he could have easily muscled a top 30 out of it, but I feel like Scott was able to probably give him some good feedback of what they could do better for the next road course and all that. So it's good to see him out there having a good run. Feels weird saying P28 good run, but it really for your second race out there for a team like that to go out to Daytona and finish 23rd with a shot at a top 15 until you had problems, and then 28th at the road course with a fairly uneventful day.
Yeah,
that's pretty good. So I'm really excited to see how they do at Homestead. I think that'll kind of show what we can expect for a good portion of the season. But I mean, I don't know. They've kind of been above where I thought they would to start out, and I'm excited to see where they go.
Yeah, hopefully it keeps on, but man, yeah, I know how this usually ends.
No, I know, but you got to remember, like, I'm going to try to find a nice way to say this. Remember when Landon was in that car?
Mm-hmm.
Things were a little better, you know what I mean? Like, you've got a young, inexperienced guy. Like, BJ's fairly experienced, and if they're going to bring guys like Scott in for the road courses, and who knows what they'll do on dirt or whatever, like, I feel like Live Fast and Starcom, you can't really compare the two, you know what I mean? I feel like Live Fast has its own set of has a unique set of circumstances with who all they've got involved.
Yeah, it's not really what I meant, but like it's just more of like, you have 2 good races. You never know what comes around the corner.
Oh no, I mean they're gonna have bad runs, like I know that. But I'm just saying, like I feel like it's probably going to be harder. It would probably be harder for me to be a Starcom fan than a Live Fast fan. Like I have way more confidence in BJ because I've watched what BJ's been able to do in cars that were probably more underfunded. I mean, I've seen him wheel cars that didn't have a sponsor on them in Xfinity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And with this and having the partnership with Tift, and I mean, they've got, seems like not almost every day, but They've had quite a few sponsorship announcements. Ford seems to be doing pretty good. Even Rick Ware Racing, a lot of people shit on them, but they have good runs in their Fords when they run Fords. I don't think they get really manufacturer support because this weekend Cody Ware was at a Chevy and Garrett was in a Ford. And, wait, Garrett wasn't a Rick Ware car though this weekend. Never mind, I'm an idiot. But you know what I mean. They run different manufacturers. It seems like every week. But with the success Front Row's had, and I know it's a road course in Daytona, but Front Row's been getting better. I'm excited to see what LiveFest can do. If they can build on the sponsorship side, keep putting together good runs and learning what they can do to get better, and then build a good relationship with Ford.
Yeah,
I think the future's bright.
They had I don't know what the sponsor was, but I saw a nice little paint scheme they had. I don't know when they're gonna run it, but it was like pink and green, or not green.
That's Traction. It's that new website that launched. It's like I don't think Motorsports Games is involved with it, but it looks like they are because of this relationship. I don't know, but
Yeah.
it's a cool little website. I looked through it. It's basically all things video game racing and sim racing. So it's pretty cool. It's traction.gg, but it's TRAXION.
Yeah, I was wondering what the fuck that was. So they followed me on Twitter, and
Yeah, they followed me too. That's how I discovered them.
Yeah,
And then
same.
yeah. They're on BJ's car. That's cool.
Yeah, I never went through the what the fuck it was. I don't know. I saw they were doing a giveaway or something. I was like, I thought it was just like a giveaway site or something. I don't know what the fuck it was, but yeah, man. I mean, yeah, I'm excited. I love watching new teams come in, and I like seeing what they can do, and hopefully they keep on going strong. But yeah, man. I'm sad over here in this corner. This Starcom corner so far in the start of the season, because this is kind of how
I
it
will
went.
say, at least this year it hasn't been Quinn's fault,
I mean, yeah, but to be fair, last season I was talking about this on stream. They it almost the exact same thing happened, and I guess they might have been probably a little smarter this time. They had an engine issue at Phoenix, and it ended up grenading on them and dropping oil, so they ended up wrecking the car and the engine. So this time they only just the engine was bad. So I mean, take it any way you want it, but either way, unfortunate start. Not as unfortunate as the 21 car, but is what it is. Hopefully they can rebound at Homestead. But yeah, I'm like, oh, I just want to see a race where 00 makes it all the way through. That's all.
Yeah. I think Quinn can hop on there and give everybody the double bird on Twitter.
Yeah.
Tell him what he thinks of him.
Sipping
I feel bad for him.
8-ball whiskey. I want to get some of that shit. I have to find it somewhere. Yeah.
Does it taste like chocolate?
Probably not all the way, but it probably get a little bit of hint of it in there. That's what I want to try. I don't know. I want to see what it's all about.
Do you imagine chocolate that gets you drunk?
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Sounds dangerous, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Have you seen
chocolate?
Chocolate. Have you seen The Crew yet?
No. Believe it or not, that was not. I didn't scramble to the TV and adjust the set to get that on there.
I just wanted to see if you're gonna dip into that or not. I figured probably not, but
I don't watch enough TV. Like, I don't watch enough good TV to watch that, and I shouldn't say that without having seen it. But I really don't think it'd be my cup of tea. Some of the little bits I've seen of it on Twitter look kind of funny, but I'm not going to pay for Netflix to watch it. So
yeah, well,
I don't know.
I already had a Netflix subscription, so I'm on there every once in a while, and I was like, you know what, it's my thing with it. It's like, I'm a NASCAR fan. I would like to come out with a NASCAR show. I don't really give a fuck how bad it is. I'm gonna give it a go. Anyways, I just finished it up actually today, or last night. It was actually last night, and it's not 100% completely awful. It's like
It's good.
It's like maybe 90%, but like not 100%.
Yeah.
It's like anything you would expect. It's like, it's got the stupid laugh track. It's got your love interest, kind of scenario, and you got your dumb, stupid driver and the one crew guy everybody shits on. It's basically everything you
and
expect.
don't forget the owner with the cowboy hat.
The owner with the cowboy hat, but he's not a big part of it because that's the whole. The story of it is he retires, and then he puts his daughter in charge, and then nobody likes it. It's about everything you expect. Yeah, so it had a couple funny moments, not a whole lot. Kevin James, I kind of like him. Yeah, not awful. There was one funny joke that actually made me laugh, and it was something about, I can't remember the delivery, so it's not gonna be funny with me saying it, but it was something along the lines of, it was they're in a restaurant, they're in like a bar kind of thing, and it was Ryan Blaney and Austin Dillon sitting at a thing, and they were chirping at each other like, this team's group, and then those two sitting over there for whatever reason, and Kevin James looks at him and says something about Austin Dillon should be on Ryan Blaney's shoulders coming in. I thought it was funny. I mean, the delivery is pretty good, but that was like one of the few times. It's probably pretty bad if you can remember the couple of times you actually laughed watching the 10 episode season. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it's pretty fucking cringy, as you can imagine. It's and being a NASCAR fan, there's a lot of stupid stuff that you realize, is not accurate whatsoever. As they, because I've seen this so many times on Twitter, and I know it pisses people off, but it's like, I don't know what else they're supposed to do. But it's like, part of their story will happen in Michigan, and then you see a clip from Bristol. And it's literally, and it just goes from track to track to track, and obviously you're gonna recognize that. But it's the same shit happening in Ford versus Ferrari and all the other fucking racing movies. It always happens. But yeah, I mean, it kind of ends on a cliffhanger, and it's not really like an interesting one either, because what's probably gonna happen at the end of it, or at least in season 2. But yeah, I mean, full review, probably 90. If I'm gonna be generous, I'll give it 85% horrorful on the horrorful meter.
That's not that bad. I mean, that's better than I thought. So, but
and I just lost you. Oh, brother.
You think there will be a season 2? Wait,
there we go. We're back. All right. Yeah. Sorry.
You think there'll be a season 2?
Oh yeah, I would imagine so. I don't think they. I could Google it to see if they've announced it, but I mean, it ends on a cliffhanger, but it's not like I mean.
I know, but like, are there enough people still watching by that cliffhanger to justify them?
Well, I mean, to be fair, it just came out, so I guess we don't. I don't think we got the numbers on it. But yeah, I would imagine they'll probably have a second season. Never mind. Here we go. The Crew season 2 release date and story details. Okay, well, I guess they're already on it then.
Okay.
Well,
good for them.
Yeah, I'd like to see him do another season, but do it better. Because woo NASCAR, give it a TV show, but don't make it too terribly bad. But it's I mean, it had its moments, so there's that. Mailbag time.
All right. askmoonhead@gmail.com. Y'all know the drill. Sorry, I was getting it opened her. Oh, whoa. Getting it open.
There you go.
Matthew Lathrop, first question. He writes, hi, Val and Head. If Mustache and Spanky could talk, what do you think they would say / complain about?
That's a really good question. I know Mustache would complain about me kicking her while I'm sleeping, as she's sleeping at the end of my bed. That's probably about that. What about Spanky?
Spanky would... Dude, Spanky, he can be a dick sometimes. So he'd bitch about a lot of stuff. Probably if dinner was late, because, or especially breakfast. So Spanky will wake up, and this isn't a problem much, but he'll wake up about 6:30, 7 o'clock, and he'll give you till about 8 a.m. So Spanky, we made the garage like Spanky's room, because the garage is insulated. It's all that. It's a pretty big garage. And it's better on his feet is on his legs than hardwoods, because he'll slide around because of his hooves. And and he's not really big on being like in the house anyway. He'd rather be outside grazing, because we've got a good bit of land. So he if it's like past 8 a.m. and he's wants his breakfast and he wants to go out there and take his morning shit, and you don't let him out, he'll start flipping shit in that garage, like just systematically going through and flipping shit, and he'll give you a big mess to clean up while he eats his breakfast if it's late. So I don't know. So he would probably be up against the door. He makes really loud noises if he's mad. And one time, somebody let him out. It was right around winter when it starts getting dark earlier, and we thought somebody had let him in, and we were going to give him breakfast or dinner, and nobody let him in. So I'm sitting at my my desk at my where I used to stay, and there's a window right next to my desk, and I had the window cracked because it wasn't cold, I guess, at the time, but it was still dark. And I started hearing this. It sounded like something out of a horror movie, just like, "Rah!" Like, I mean, just weird noise. And I was like, is that Spanky? And I look out there, and he's back there by the back windows, just raising hell until we open it. So I go around and open the back porch, and he comes in the house and walks straight through back out to the garage, ready for dinner. But so yeah, he would probably just raise hell anytime there was some sort of minor inconvenience.
How old's Spanky now?
He is about 3.5. So,
Oh man, time flies, don't it?
man, I'm telling you, he there's a very good likelihood he's going to be a big brother this year.
Oh.
I've read a lot about pigs and their brains, and they're herd animals by nature, and I feel like it can create a lot of good, or them not having like somebody or something to be around a lot can create like behavioral issues as they get older and boredom and stuff. So I'm really thinking about, before he gets too old and grumpy, getting another pig to kind of be his herd mate and grazing buddy. So I've been kind of looking around, looking at some breeders and seeing what I want to go with. Maybe the same breeder I got Spanky from, maybe another one here in town. But it'll be interesting. Be able to. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Oh yeah.
Wow. Next question comes from Brendan Wagner. Hey guys, all my life I have had only one goal, and that's being a moon car champion. Moon cars only existed for like a year, so unless you're like 1 year old, I find that hard to believe, but thank you. Most lads our age wanted to grow up and be the next Winston/Nextel Cup champion, but not this guy. All jokes aside, I'm curious if you have any advice for someone wanting to get involved in iRacing. I have a monitor and a Logitech G920, but no PC. This is where I ask for your help. Any advice for someone looking to get a PC that can smoothly run iRacing with no issues? My budget is not very large, as I just graduated college, but wanted to see if you guys had any advice for what to look for, what to stay away from, etc. IndyCar is always my preferred series, and Marco Andretti is my favorite driver. Yes, I listened to the episode where we collectively shit on him.
Oof.
Yes,
Sorry.
I know he deserves most of it. With that being said, both of you have been a huge help in drawing me back into NASCAR, the sport I loved so much as a child, and I appreciate that. Keep up the good work. I'm relatively new to the podcast, so if this has been asked in the past, I'm sorry, Brendan. So it kind of has been asked in the past, but not really from a specs standpoint. I'm not great with specs. Me personally, I don't have like a sponsorship with a PC company like Cozy, so I'm not gonna point you in a specific direction. I will tell you, I built my computer through NZXT and it went well. They have a pretty easy process of building a custom PC, and I believe they charge you like $100 on top of whatever parts cost to put it together, and it's all under warranty and it gets shipped fairly quick. So I think that's a good deal. As far as specs go, Cozy's probably a better guy to ask that. You don't need a whole lot to run iRacing, but I would recommend whatever the max is of your budget for a PC. Spend it effectively, obviously. Don't go waste it on like lights and shit, but like get as close to top of the line as you can, because it'll save you money in the long run. Because iRacing in anything is like anything, and it's constantly evolving. And the better shit you have, the less you have to replace stuff. And I've learned that kind of the hard way through the years. So I kind of went all out with this build. I went more than what I needed. I wouldn't advise spending what I spent on this if you're just trying to play the game. But definitely, like I said, be as efficient as you can be with your money, because if you're just going to try to spend like $500 to $800 like a lot of people do when they just start, they're replacing shit in 6 months to a year, and by the end of it they've got $3,000 in a PC that can barely run it. So if you can't spend a whole lot, just keep saving your money until you can put together a solid base build. Would you agree? I mean, I feel like that's the best way to go about it.
I mean, I would just I have that whole thing with Artesian, but that's for Twitch streaming, not for podcasts. So if I were you, if you were gonna save max money, I would just do it your damn self. Buy like a fucking Windows code on eBay and just build it yourself. If you want to, like, I know not everybody wants to go and do all that stuff, because a lot of times you can have a lot of issues that comes up. Yeah, you can fuck it up. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and obviously, like, if this guy's just trying to get into it, I'm not shitting on building your PC. If you want to do it, do it. The only reason I didn't do it is because I was lazy and I saw NZXT only charged $100 extra. And I was like, shit, they were less likely to fuck it up than me. And if they fuck it up, they have to replace whatever they fuck up, not me. So that's why I went with it. Yeah. But if you're knowledgeable about computers, yes, you're gonna save money doing that. Like 9 times out of 10, you can run into, like me, instances where prices were high everywhere else, and literally parts were cheaper on NZXT, and I paid less getting them to build it at the end of the day. But, like Cozy said, if you want to save maximum money, probably building it is your best chance. But I think the best advice that we could give you is just try to maximize how efficient you are and how much money you can spend, and don't be one of those people who buys a $500 PC to play iRacing on, because you're just going to you're going to spend another $1,000 upgrading it probably in 6 months or a year. So your experience will be a lot more enjoyable if you get the most out of it early.
No fancy lights, none of the fucking bells and whistles.
I've got those, but
yeah, we know
they're cool looking, but you just, yes, you don't need all that. And one perk, though, of building it yourself, like Cozy said, is it's way easier to add on to it later. So if you are comfortable doing that, I would probably recommend it. If you think you could do it successfully, build your own early. And if you can only spend like $1,000, do that, build it yourself. You'll maximize what you can do. And then you know exactly how everything's in there. And you just have your base right there, and you can add to it as you go. And by that point, you probably only need to add like a graphics card or some more RAM, which I don't know. The way iRacing is, it could go any way. It uses a lot of weird parts in your computer, I feel like, at certain times.
Yeah.
You would think it'd be messing with one thing, and then next thing you know, you have problems with another. But for the most part, they're working on everything. The new damage model. God, oh my, can we talk about that for a second?
Yeah.
The new damage model, man. If you don't have decent shit in there, good luck racing ARCA or whatever else they're going to add the new damage model to, because cars will just start flashing like crazy.
Oh man, and whatever you do, don't turn on HDR unless you want to get blinded by the fucking sun. That was a bad mistake I made. It was cool there for a minute until I actually did a legitimate league race at FTF Race Auto Club, and I was cool the first run we did. The second run though, the sun started setting in turn 3, and every time I drove down off it there, dude, I missed the line every single time because I just couldn't fucking see it. It was so stupid.
That's funny. They need 10 advisors on iRacing now.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like you can't put like a custom those like goofy shaped ones they used to put on the fucking cars and stuff at Phoenix and some tracks like that. Like that your Dale Jr. one, it was all fucking shaped funny. Yeah, you can't do any of that stuff with iRacing, so you just have to be fucking blinded. So yeah, turn that shit off.
Yeah, but yeah, hopefully that helped. I feel like we said a whole lot of nothing there, but hopefully that helps.
Yeah, keep us updated too.
Here we go. Harmon writes, "Hey, Cozy and Travis, I have 3 questions for you. First question is a 2-part question, so you have 5 questions for us. How do you feel about dirt racing, and would you be willing to get tickets to the truck race at Knoxville?" I would. I like dirt racing.
Dirt racing's
All
awesome.
Right. Second question, how do you feel about NASCAR bringing more short tracks to the Cup Series? I love it. What about you?
Oh, absolutely.
Third and final question, do you guys believe Iowa Speedway deserves a Cup date? Thanks you boneheads for making me laugh my ass off every time Best of is posted. Thank you, Herman. Appreciate the kind
Thanks
words.
you.
I'm not a big... Why would you do that to the man? He literally just like thanked us, and God, you're an asshole. No. I'm not gonna say no, but no? I'm not. I feel like Iowa's overrated. I never really saw the hype, but I mean, I hate it. I hate to see it go.
Yeah, I'm there with you. I think it's overrated. But I'd like to see it on the Cup date just because it's a pretty unique track, and it would be new for the Cup Series. I like to see them get as many like new tracks in there as they can, and that's a prime destination.
Yeah, but they can only do so many weeks a year, and I feel like if we're gonna start adding tracks, there's a lot better tracks that we
have they taken away a Dover date yet? Do they still have 2?
Yeah, no, didn't they get rid of one?
I don't know. That's why I asked.
I'm pretty sure they got rid of one, or they're talking about getting rid of one. Either way,
they got rid of one for New Hampshire. I know that.
Yeah, I feel like Dover was next. I don't know, but either way, I mean, if they want to add it, sure. If they want to have
fucking road courses, put that in there.
Yeah, but if they want to have that nightmare of traffic out there in the middle of cornfields and nobody with a hotel room, go for it. But I feel like there's other tracks and better places that they could run.
Yeah, I'm sure there probably is, but I mean, yeah, fuck it.
I mean, have you seen where the speedway is?
No, I haven't been there.
There's literally nothing around it, so they'd have to work on that. Slow motion writes, "Hey Travis and Cozy, if you could choose any two NASCAR F1 drivers to fight each other, who would they be? Mine would be Mike Harmon and Brian Keselowski, because that would be a whole ass sumo match. Also, what's your favorite bizarre pizza topping? Mine would be mac and cheese pizza. Love the vids. Keep up the good work." Man, I don't know. I'd like to see.
I want to see two F1 guys duke it out.
Yeah, I'd like
Since
to
it's so
see.
frowned
Yeah,
upon. I want to see Lewis Hamilton versus I don't know, fucking somebody like Verstappen or somebody, Vettel. I want to see those two go at it. Just fucking.
isn't Lewis kind of jacked though? I feel like he could probably whoop somebody's ass.
To be fair though, they're all in pretty damn good shape. I mean,
Yeah, but most of them are like twig boys. Isn't he kind of like defined? I feel like he looks fairly normal.
I wouldn't even say most of them are twig boys, man. They're all pretty like it's from what I understand, it takes a lot to drive those fucking F1 cars, man, and they train like something serious to do it too. So I don't know, man. I think any of them could probably I don't know about any of them, but I don't know, man. Either way, I want to see Lewis Hamilton fight somebody. That's all.
All right, Tanner writes. He says him and his dad listen every week, and they'd love it if we said hi to him. His name is Rob. So hi, Rob.
Hello,
Thanks
Rob.
for listening. Dustin's asking the frequently asked question about Logitech. Do you have to quit using Fanatec? I know you've answered this a million times, but I figured we could get it on the podcast as well.
Oh man, yeah, I was really hoping we wouldn't do something like this, but I'll be honest, I've been trying to avoid it as most as I possibly can, just because it's really awkward. I understand.
Well, you brought it up though. I've heard you say it on stream.
Oh yeah, because that's all my chat was. It's all fucking ever since that shit has been announced. It's all people fucking ask me and quote me and fucking and this and that. And it's like it's fucking. I was going into it. I was like, I know people are gonna get after me for this. I'm just gonna stay silent about it. Just not really go in any direction about it. But, all right, yeah. So I don't have to switch. It's just like it's not like a personal thing either. It's like it's a team sponsor. So it's like now I'm a part of the team. So now all the sponsors, I'm just representing the sponsors. Yeah. So I know I got some shaky history with the Logitech stuff, but it is what it is. It's strictly business. I'm here to race. That's all.
Okay.
There you go.
Grant wants to know if any funny stories from when we got our driver's license. I ran a stop sign during my test and I taught myself how to parallel park during the test, which was pretty cool. I figured it out that quick. And I ran a stop sign as well and got like an 85 on the test.
Wait, you ran a stop sign?
Yeah, technically, yeah.
Really?
I mean, I hit
and you passed?
Yeah, I hit the brakes, so I guess they didn't think it was that bad.
Is it like one of them rolling ones?
Well, yeah, like they took us through like a neighborhood, and honestly, like I was so focused on trying to be casual and not overdo the stuff. I guess I just didn't stop all the way, and they were like, "Yeah, you didn't stop for that stop sign." So we deducted points there, and then they deducted points. I think it was during the parallel parking. I took 3 tries because I was teaching myself on the first 2 and the third try. And I made the mistake actually telling them. I was like, man, all right, I figured that out. Like I didn't study at all. So I just kind of went in there and did my thing.
That's crazy. See, when I did it, they when I did my I would assume like when you did it, like did you have to do like a couple of practice runs with like you had an instructor and everything?
No, I did it online, so I got to watch Laurie Arendijk Jr. Teach me about. Is it Laurie or Larry? What's his name? Ari. I said Laurie. Ari Lyondike Jr. Teach me about driving on the highway, which is riveting stuff.
I bet.
And all I could think about was that time AJ Foyt backhanded him in Victory Lane or whatever. But yeah, and then I went in there and I took the written test and I did good on it. And then on the driving one, I think you had to make an 80 or something, and I made an 85, so I didn't do great. But considering I taught myself how to parallel park during it and ran a stop sign, got out and kind of adjusted my hat and said, "We'll take it. It was a good day." Thanks to Ari back at the
shop.
at the shop.
Oh my god.
He prepared me good. So,
First off, I failed my learner's permit test. That was the only thing I failed, and it was so stupid too because my mom gave me the wrong fucking pamphlet or something to study. So it's like when I did, and I got the dumbest fucking questions. All you had to do was go in the fucking DMV and sit down on a computer and answer some fucking questions. And all of them, like I got some of them, but like not enough of them because some of them were there was one question I don't remember what the question was, but it was something about like sunglasses or something. Or it was about what something was called, and I was like, what the, I don't know, and I failed it, so I had to redo it. But yeah, the whole stop sign thing, it was very clear when I did it that if you did not completely stop at a stop sign on your test, it's an automatic failure, which is.
Well, I had added pressure too, because there's this lady down there who is known for not being nice. Like she's just this big old grumpy lady that sits behind the counter.
Yeah,
and, like, she's been there for years, and she's like the main lady down there at the DMV. So the person who was observing me just so happened to be getting observed that day. They chose my ride to do it, so I had two of them in there, and my observer was being observed, and I was being observed. So it was like a never-ending wave of observal. And is that a word?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. And so there was a lot of pressure. So I think they cut me some slack. Because, I mean, to be honest, man, some of the jackasses who get their license, like, I think you can tell by the time the person gets in there and just drives off, like, all right, is this person competent? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And I think that's kind of where it was. Like, I think they could tell, like, hey, okay, he didn't stop completely for a stop sign in a neighborhood. We're not going to fail him over that.
Wow, you could run over a child not stopping all the way.
Well,
shaking my head.
Here's the thing. Actually, believe it or not, in that neighborhood, that was that neighborhood I found that kid doing the lemonade stand. And I don't even like lemonade, but I gave him overpaid for a cup of lemonade I didn't drink because I like seeing him out there. He said, I've made like almost $25 this weekend. He had this like water gun. He's like, all I want to do is buy a water gun. And he already had it. And he's like, people have been buying this stuff left and right. And he was charged it like dirt cheap. He made $20 and he was happy. And, man, it was a good kid. Gave me hope about our future. But, yeah, it was that neighborhood. But yeah, I mean, I didn't like run it. I just like legally I ran it, but wasn't like I was pedal to the metal.
Yeah, I get what you mean. It was funny because like I remember that was the one thing I actually remembered that was like it was drilled in my head. Like if you don't fucking, because I did that. I fucking one of the little I had to do 3 tests. This driving school, which oddly enough was from downtown Hagerstown, and that was sketch every time I went to class. But oh my god, dude, it was oh jeez. Yeah, I had to do these 3 tests with an instructor or whatever, and yeah, I ended up just kind of rolling through a stop sign, and he was like, "You motherfucker, you better not fucking do that on the driving test. They're gonna fail your ass." I was like, "All right." So I made sure I stopped at everyone. And there was another time. The only other interesting thing that happened, it was cool because I got to drive I don't know what the fuck it was, but it was a fancy, it was a cute little blue car. It was fast. It was cool. And for whatever reason, I'd had this habit where I was like driving like I was on iRacing, where I'd hover my left foot over the brake, and it was. And since it was a really new car, and of course, I hadn't really driven anything new up until that point. But yeah, it was. I was hovering my foot over the pedal, and I was touching it, but it was going down just enough that it was doing something with the engine. It was like causing it to cut off or whatever. And I was like, well, I don't know what the hell's happening here. I'm like losing power. Like I was going really slow, and I didn't understand why. And my instructor was like, hey, you can speed up a little bit. I was like, hey, I would if I could. I don't know what the hell's going on here. And he had me pull over, and we were trying to diagnose. And he's like, all right. So he had me pull over, and he's like, all right, here's what you're going to do. You're just going to floor it and see what it does. So I just look behind me. There's nobody coming. Fucking gunned it. Anyways, we figured out. He's like, oh yeah, don't put your foot over the brake pedal there. It's gonna make it a cut off, and that was the end of it. But hey, I got the floor, a really fun car. So that was the highlight
cool.
of my. Yeah, he's a really good guy. I had there was like one fill-in guy I did the first one with. He was the guy who yelled at me for doing the rolling through, but he was really cool. The other guy, I remember we ended up talking about iRacing and all this stuff, and he was really nice. He took me. We stopped at his sheets. Got a fucking soda pop or whatever, and just kept on. He was real nice. He's a cool dude. But yeah, shout out to him. Great driver instructor, and he's a big part of my success now with fucking 2 speeding tickets.
Yeah, remember when you had to go to driver betterment?
Oh, I forgot I had to do that.
Yeah.
Fuck, that was the most pointless 3 hours of my fucking life. Oh my god, dude. That was so bad.
Hey, save that those insurance rates though, till I guess the Martinsville incident.
Oh my god. Yeah, can I just talk about that for a second? I was doing a 52 and a 35 because I had to shit on the way back from Walmart, and the 2 speeding tickets I have were both literally 2 miles before my destination. That's how fucking just unlucky it was. This fucking little fucking asshole speed motherfucker cop down here at the bottom of the bridge as I'm coming by. And I'm just trying to get the fuck home, and he ends up pulling me in. I get a speeding ticket from that. And that shit on the way from Martinsville, I didn't even see the speed limit change. I didn't see it. There was nobody on the fucking road. I was 2 miles away, about ready to pull off the fucking highway. And I just pull up to a fucking red light. And there was one car there that I pulled up next to. And then all of a sudden I look at my review and there's cop lights. I'm like, why? Is he getting this guy? And I'm like, oh, he's following me. So I had to pull over. And this motherfucker, I don't even remember how much it was. It's so fucking stupid though, man. Don't speed. It's not worth it.
That reminded me. I've gotten 1 ticket in my day, and I was 16 years old, and the cop was really cool. He marked it down, so it didn't go on my insurance, didn't give me any points. I just had to go to juvenile court and pay
Oh yeah, I remember that.
my fine. And it was hilarious because I had a bunch of stuff in my pockets I forgot about that was making the metal detector go off, and the guy was pissing me off, and he was sitting on this old bucket thing, and he was scanning me. He was getting an attitude, and he's like a court cop dude. And I was mad. I remember telling my mom, I'm glad I made it through that try because I was gonna have a whole nother date up here if he kept talking to me like that. And fast forward 5 years, my dad was up there at the courthouse, not in trouble. He was doing something with a carry permit or something. And he had to go through it. And he had a similar situation. He brought up the asshole on the little bucket thing. I was like, hey, I had an experience with him too. But yeah, I was we went to I've told stories about the college and career academy in school and how we could leave and go get lunch. Well, I got put in the bad parking spot one day, and I was the last person to leave. And every day there's this 2-lane road you go down. Every day kids were, I think I saw them go 3 wide down this 2-lane road one time, pedal to the metal. Just crazy stuff. Hauling ass, 100 miles an hour, all this stuff. And it's kind of a residential area. So obviously people called and complained. Well, the day I'm late trying to get my lunch and I'm starving, I go, you know what? Fuck it. I'm sick of being the safe driver. I'm always the safe driver here. I'm flooring it. And I put the pedal to the metal. I'm talking, I couldn't have put that pedal any more against the metal. And I made it about 250 feet, and I saw a motorcycle with a old Rome PD on it. And my heart was in my balls. I was like, oh, man. Because I didn't know how fast I was going because I wasn't paying attention. I was in the zone, and I saw him. And I just pulled over, right? I got on the brakes and pulled over because I was like, there's no way I'm getting away with this. And he comes up, and I think it was along the line, I think I called myself a dumbass to the cop. It was something along the lines of, I'm an idiot or I'm a dumbass. I'm just hungry. That was my excuse. And apparently that was good enough for him because, in that brief moment, it's all right, he just saw me leave school. He knows my wife's not in labor. I got a shit excuse never works. So why not just be honest? Look, I'm pissed off, I'm a dumbass, and I'm hungry. And he's like, all right, that's good enough for me. And he said he got me, it was a 35, and he got me at 67 or something, which I was proud of my truck for getting up to that quick. That was damn good. That was my old truck too. So I was like, damn, that's pretty good. Obviously I didn't tell the cop that. I acted I had to pretend to be ashamed of myself. And, he marked it down to 46 for me, so only got 11 over, and I had to pay $50 to go to juvenile court and tell the judge I was going to pay the $50. So I got out good. I got off lucky.
Yeah, off real good. You wouldn't be getting off of that shit in fucking Virginia or Maryland or some shit.
No, Virginia is awful from what I'm always going, dude. I'm lucky if I hit the speed limit whenever I'm in Virginia. I always One time, I up there at my grandmother's, there's a spot that's 35 that you think would be 55. It's similar to what you got there. And I drove. I'm ashamed of this. Do not use your phone while you're driving. And I don't mean to make excuses, but I was trying to put an address in my phone on Waze to figure out where I was going up there. So I drive by at like 55 and a 35 with my phone in my hand, and a cop sees me and pulls up behind me, and he followed me for 2 miles, just putting the fear of God in me before he pulled off. And oh my, like that was worse than getting a ticket, man. Like I wish he'd have just pulled me over, got it over with, and gave me the ticket. 2 miles of like stoplights once I got into town with that cop right there behind me riding my ass. Oh my God, man. Oh my God. Because I was just sitting
The
there
old
like, man,
intimidator.
yeah, I was like, this guy, like, because the longer it went on, I'm like, man, this guy, like, obviously he's an ass, so he's gonna throw the book at me because I had my phone, I was speeding, my window tint's illegal, like, he's gonna find everything he can on this. So luckily he didn't. But it was way worse than a ticket, just getting rode like that. All right, last question comes from JD Legate. For Travis, I saw a tweet a few weeks ago where a guy said that every time he goes to Waffle House, he gets the same thing, but his total bill is always different. My question to you is, when you go to Waffle House, is your bill always the exact same? Since you get I'm not going to finish that. No, it is not. And he also added, do they recognize you as a frequent visitor? I'll get to that in a minute. My bill is always just a little bit different, which is weird to me, but it's never enough for me to really care. And yes, they do recognize me. They know my truck. So my food's usually being made before I get in there. And I have like a spot, if it's open, I like to sit up there at the bar, kind of on the corner, and they put my drink out and all that. And by the time I get in there, everything's ready to go. And they know I have remote start on my truck. So my dog, sometimes he'll come with me. He's a little dog. And I can have my truck on and monitor it from my phone and keep the air conditioning and everything on for him. So if they see my little lights on, like that's on, they know my dog's out there, and sometimes they'll kind of do me a favor and speed me up if it's crowded, move me ahead of some people. Sometimes they might even throw a little bacon my way to take out there to him. But yeah. And then for Cozy, how long does it take in total for you to make one F1 2020 video versus a NASCAR Heat 5 video? That's actually a really interesting question. I've never asked you this. Which one takes longer?
F1 for sure, because I got to do all this. Actually practice NASCAR. I just don't. I go off in there, and at this part of the season, like I've already done like the most of the tracks, so I already have a setup in there. So I don't run a single lap of practice. I go out there, I do one qualifying lap, and then boom, I'm recording. You know, so it's like, yeah. So I just recorded today. I didn't get the episode out, but I recorded in 49 minutes. F1 usually is about 2 hours or more, so it's yeah, it takes a fucking, and then it takes longer because I gotta edit all the shit. To be fair, you can cut out a lot of the F1, but there's just a lot more to it. So that just, it's a lot more to the game in a whole. But yeah, so I got some cool. Speaking of which, I wanted to mention they've been releasing those F1 the deliveries and stuff one by one, and there's been a couple of more since then. I did want to mention this on the podcast, a little teaser. I'm gonna do another season of F1, and hopefully I'll be able to mod those new liveries in for season 4. So if anybody's made it to this part in the podcast, there's a little teaser for season 4. I'm excited. Hopefully I can get most of them in. By the time I start the season, not all of them will probably be released, but hopefully I'll be able to add them as the season goes on. But yeah, hopefully we change it up just a little bit and give it a kind of a fresh look. But yeah, I'm excited for that. So hell yeah.
All right, that's the mailbag.
All right. Well, I think that leaves us with one thing, Travis.
Yes, we've got an interview this week. I was able to do an interview with Andy Jankowiak. Oh man, I didn't butcher it in the interview. Well, it kind of went to a decision. He gave me credit, which was good. He's a nice guy. Andy Jankowiak. He ran the ARCA race at Daytona, finished 8th. He was the one they did a feature on. He's a pizza delivery guy by day, race car driver by night, and spent a considerable amount of his money to buy him an ARCA ride. And he went to Daytona and finished 8th. So hell of a story. We got to hear his start in basically from his start in racing, from the start of his life, all the way to how he got to ARCA and what his future plans are. So it's a really good interview. Appreciate him coming on. And I guess we don't have like a cool transition sound, but we can jump into that. You have anything you'd like to add?
No, man. Just the yeah, that's really about all I got. Car anomaly stuff on Thursday. Other than that, Rod Car Friday, I guess. But yeah, man. Hopefully y'all enjoyed the podcast. And what were you gonna say, Travis? You can go ahead and transition. Here.
No, I was just gonna say, here's the interview. We don't have the cool sounds or anything like
You-
some of these other programs. So
You can give us a sound.
yeah,
Perfect.
Boo-da-doo. All right, so here we are with Andy and I. I have been practicing for a long time. I hope I get this right.
Let's see what you got.
Is it Jankowiak?
That's pretty close. Yeah, I'll take it.
All right, holy shit.
Yeah, Jankowiak.
Dude, I butcher names like it's going out of style, so I'm really proud that I was even close.
Jankowiak is correct. We'll accept Jankowiak.
Okay.
Short of that, it's I don't know. It's all about, like, people just don't like the end. That's what I find the most is they try so hard to get rid of that end and you make it like Jankowiak and everything else. So
Oh, okay.
It's just a matter of slow pronunciation. All the letters are there.
All right, so your story is absolutely amazing. Most people, I guess it kind of blew up on Twitter after the broadcast, but everybody watching the ARCA race from Daytona got to see it. So just tell us about your start in racing and how you got to Daytona.
Well, it's a long road. I was joking around that I am the oldest rookie that was at the event. So basically, I come.
To highlighted loud.
God, that is so loud. Basically, I started out with my family. My family's just long time into racing. My mother raced. My uncle was the patriarch of the racing family. Well, actually, my grandpa was in racing too as a crew guy. But my uncle Tommy raced modifieds back in the 70s, and my father, who was a teenager back then, wanted to be on a pit crew, and he lived close by, so he'd ride his bike over, and he ended up being on my uncle's pit crew, and that was actually how my dad and my mom actually met, because my mom was obviously my uncle's sister, and they met, and they started dating when they got a little bit older, and along came me. So I figured I owe my existence to racing. If not for my dad being on my uncle's pit crew, I wouldn't be here. So that's kind of how the story starts out. And then my uncle passed away racing a modified at Lancaster Speedway when I was 1. And my dad passed away racing a modified at Stafford Speedway when I was 2. So, growing up with my mom, I had a brother. He wasn't really all that into it, but my mom knew. She said from an early age that, she knew I was going to end up being involved in racing. And, she said she was never going to be the one to stop me. She never pushed it, but she said she was never going to be the one to stop me. So, she supported me right from the get-go, and she couldn't do much for me as far as the financial aspect of it. I mean, we grew up good. We grew up okay. We did not lack for a thing. But as far as putting a race car on the track, it took a lot of my dad's friends and my uncle's friends and family friends that remembered racing with my family to kind of help me out, and ended up going from go-karts to street stocks and did really well in street stocks, well enough that I picked up a ride in Sportsman Modifieds, and we won a couple of championships in that and made the move into Modifieds. During that time, we started racing pretty hard with three-quarter midgets, doing indoor three-quarter midgets, and just been very, very lucky to be very, very successful. Won our first indoor auto racing championship with three-quarter midgets last year, and been winning modified races up and down the East Coast, and not setting the world on fire, but running very well, and probably more just because I was traveling a lot. We got notoriety for sort of, being a team that was, able to go on the road and racing on a fairly limited budget and running successful. And we went down to Bowman Gray Stadium, and we went to New England and kind of raced all over, and got nominated for the Ken Schrader Real Racer Award, which we actually got nominated for that 3 times. So I got to meet Kenny Schrader, and sort of just opened different doors for me just to meet new people and be, with all those relationships that got built over the past few years with, going to the PRI event and being part of the Real Racer Award deal. It just opened doors, and I started to poke around a little bit at how it would be possible to put something together to have an ARCA car to be able to go to Daytona, and wheels just started turning, and I just kept asking questions, and we just kept getting lucky. Mr. Schrader had a car, and he worked with us a lot to be able to, for us to be able to obtain the car from him, and really did us a lot of kindness with that, and gave us his best man to go there and help out in the car and be part of the crew, and just went from there. Kind of went all in on trying to get the ARCA car. Pretty much took everything we had, and kind of just took a chance that if we took that first step, that some sponsors would jump in and join us, and we got lucky. We had a lot of great sponsors for Daytona, and we're looking for sponsors now to go to Talladega, and we already got a couple there, so we're going to be in good shape, I think, to go to Talladega. Still looking for a little bit of help for that, but just everything just keeps going really, really well, and it was just it's kind of like a domino effect, really. It took, it wasn't just one or two things happening that kind of worked out. It was like 30 things in a row that needed to happen perfectly, and we just keep getting lucky, and it keeps working out, and we've been able to keep going.
Wow. So I want to go back because you said you raced at Bowman Gray. How did that that go? I know it's kind of notorious for being the madhouse. How did that go, being an outsider and coming down there and racing?
We got roughed up a little bit by a couple guys, but I tell you what, man, the guys that run up front, they're just hard-nosed racers, and they give you the same respect you give them. And I have a really good friendship with the Myers brothers, and me and Tim Brown usually get along for the most part. We've had a couple skirmishes, just normal racing stuff, but we're definitely on a handshake basis, and there's mutual respect there for sure. But yeah, no, everyone over there has just been great to me. I love going down there and racing. Lee Jeffries is always really kind to me. Puddin' Swisher and all his guys are always been really kind to me. And for the first time we went there, it was never like, we never felt like an outsider. It was always, hey, what can we do to help? What do you need? And there's a lot of truth to the Southern hospitality. And I never, to me, those guys, they race you with respect that you give them. And I've never really had a problem like that. So maybe if I raced there every week, it probably would end up happening eventually, just because, that's racing. But we've been there probably 4 or 5 times, and we ran competitive, ran in the top 5, and haven't gotten a W over there yet. But we're planning on going back again this year. But with COVID, they didn't end up opening up. But Bowman Gray is definitely in our future again for sure.
That's awesome. So, when you decided to head out to the Daytona deal, did you know that Fox was planning on running a story or a feature on you during the race, or was that something you were made aware of after the fact?
No, I knew there was going to be something. I didn't know exactly what they were going to do, and a lot of credit for that has to go to my really good friend at Speedway Illustrated, Carl Fredrickson. I know he did a lot to sort of push my story and get the story out there, and help people understand what we were trying to do and the way we got there. And I think that's just the racer inside Carl Fredrickson. He saw us kind of busting our butts to try to make something happen, and he jumped on board and did everything he could for us, and got that story to the people over at Fox. And everyone over at Fox, I mean, they were just awesome. They really took really good care of the story, and they were asking me a lot of questions, and they called me probably 2 or 3 times, and they were asking for pictures, and it's tough on one of them broadcasts because you only got so much time, so you got to tell the story as quick as you can. And the amount of time they spent talking about me, I was pretty humbled by that, and I thought that was really cool. And it's definitely gonna help me get my name out there, and help us get the word out there that we're here, we got this car, and we're looking for sponsors because we want to go try and do some more racing.
So to get these cars prepared, I'd imagine it's probably. I mean, I don't know what goes into preparing an ARCA car as far as like wind tunnel time and all that for a speedway, but I'd imagine you don't have access to all of that. What are y'all like? Are y'all just doing the best you can, or are you traveling to like Charlotte and working with some of the bigger teams?
I travel to Charlotte. We certainly don't work with the bigger teams. The car was built by Donnie Richardson, and he's a Cup crew chief, and he worked with Mr. Schrader for years, and they won the ARCA championship in 2017, and you name it, that guy's done it. He's just a legend. And part of my deal with Mr. Schrader was to, we would have Donnie for the test and the race over at Daytona. So he worked hand in hand with us. Very hands-on at the track. He got the car ready. We took it for the test, and after the test, we didn't bring it back to the Schrader shop because they sold it. So we took it over to my buddy Andy Seiss's house. But, Donnie was very hands-on at the track, available for, if we needed parts, he could always help us find parts, and available for advice. So he made himself very available, and that was a huge part in being able to kind of figure out what we needed. I hired a crew chief in December, Mike Dayton, who had some Winston Cup crew chief experience, and he's from up by me. I'm from the Buffalo area, and he's from not too far from me, and he's been down south for about 20 years. But we had a connection with being from the same area. So I asked him if he wanted to be involved, and he had a good friendship with Donnie Richardson. So having those two guys involved was pretty huge to make sure that we just knew how to get through the tech line and just everything we had to do at the track and getting the car set up. And, after you get through tech, they give you the springs and, making sure everything was right. So just the routines of all that. And, and Mike was very hands-on at the shop too. So he would come down and give me, about 1 or 2 shop days a week and kind of work with me on the car. So that was really cool. But, the car stayed at my buddy Andy Seiss's house, and, he did ARCA for a couple years, and he was very successful. And he brought a wealth of knowledge. And Andy Seiss is like, if you're playing the video game and you want your car to go faster, you put in the cheat code. Like, Andy Seiss is the cheat code. He had so much knowledge, and he basically handed me 6 years worth of his hard work in a notebook and said, like, this is what we did. This is what's successful. This is what worked. This is what didn't work. And he basically just gave me an opportunity to go work on the car and try to make the car better. And I learned a lot. I was very hands-on with the car as far as trying to apply a lot of the things I was learning. We moved the engine forward. We got templates, and we made the body as good as we could get it. And we made a lot of improvements to that car. And it was nothing I knew how to do. It was all just knowledge that was granted to me and help that those guys were giving me. So what it really comes when I got into this, I think I knew enough that I didn't know enough. And I knew if I wanted to be successful, that the key to it was just going to be surrounding myself with smart people and letting the smart people help me. Because, I come from modified racing, and the past couple of years I've been building my own modifieds, and I'm used to being pretty hands-on and sort of, controlling my own outcome. But I knew with this that there just wasn't enough time for me to learn everything I was going to need to learn. So I knew I had friends that could do it, and I was just very lucky that guys like Andy and Mike and Donnie were willing to help me out, and that's what made it work. And there's just no, there's no excuse for knowledge. There's no replacement for knowledge and smart people, and that's why we were successful.
All right, before I let you go, I got to know future plans, and have any pizza places hit you up yet about a sponsorship?
We are going to go to Talladega. We locked in, we're working on sponsors. We locked in a new sponsor, Thermal Foam, so they're going to be on board for sure. They're a Buffalo-based company. We've been assembling we put together a new proposal for Talladega, and there was a couple people that actually had sought us out with all the, we ran good at Daytona And we've been pursuing those avenues first. Just, we haven't gotten really into too much cold calling yet, but it's not out of the realm of possibility, and we're going to wait and see what happens. And, right now we're focused on Talladega. And after that, we're going to look at maybe doing, I think, probably the most feasible one for me to do, if I could find some more, sponsorship help to go do it, would be to go to Michigan when that's in August. So that's going to be some conversion on the car would be necessary. So that would be a little bit harder. So, we'd need to find some good sponsorship backing to be able to do something like that. But, we're optimistic. We're ready to put the work in, and we think the sky's the limit, and if we just keep going out there and running well and putting the work in and making a good impression, I feel optimistic that, we can hang out at this level a little bit and keep racing and just keep getting more opportunities to kind of show what we're capable of as a small team with wanting to put the work in.
All right, man. Hell yeah. You're a badass. I just want you to know that. I think I told you that the night I DM'd you on Twitter. I'm really looking forward to seeing you race at Dega, and wish you nothing but the best.
I appreciate that, brother. If you need anything else, I got all the time in the world. You just let me know.
All righty, man. Have a good one.
Thank you, sir.
All right, that is our interview with Andy Jankowiak. I butchered his name. I think I've said his name 3 different ways throughout this. He told me the way I said it was right. That's all that matters. Huge thanks to him for coming on. Check him out, man. He's on social media. Just search his name up. They're looking for sponsors for Dega, as you heard. And what a story to get behind. What a guy. What a story. That's the stuff we like to see. So appreciate you guys tuning in this week. We'll be back next week with the Gas Hose Podcast. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Thank y'all.